Well, Gareth, what a season for Hawick so far. I mean, is it beyond your wildest dreams?
Yeah, I don't think the boys were quite expecting the season that we had at the start. However, we were aiming high. We did set ourselves goals, and high goals at that. However, as you can see for the results, we weren't expecting that. No.
It was a shaky start as well. I mean, Selkirk came down here and nearly turned you over. It was a draw, and then you went to Enbrackies, and I think it was late in the game you won by 1 point. So the foundations were a bit rocky, let's say, but from then on, it really exploded.
Yeah, there was a few results where you could have seen it going the other way. The final being a great example of that. But yes, I think that really galvanised the boys, sort of showing that, listen, if it is a tough game, we can stick together, tough it out, and we'll get the job done in the end, kind of thing.
This squad has now become part of history. 21 years, I think it was, in the making to get that Premiership title. And of course, it's ongoing because you've got a semi-final coming up against Glasgow Hawks away from home. I remember the last time I went to Glasgow Hawks, it was on the 3G pitch and they beat you. Hopefully that's not going to be the case this time round. But what a fantastic season it's been. And as I say, part of history now.
Yeah, I think any time you pull on that green jersey, it's you're enveloped in the sort of history. You know how much it means to the town, and you know how much it means to the people that have worn it before you. There's that much great players that have worn it before you, and then just to do and represent the town as well as we have, it's been, yes, quite proud of that. And then, as you say, we've still got things to go. There's still things to play for. So I think the squad are really trying to look onwards and upwards, and then hopefully we can get a better result than the last time they were at Murrayfield.
Now, of course, we can talk now. Now that you've won it, we can actually talk so that it doesn't sound like sour grapes or anything. But to me, after 18 games, top of the table by a mile, you deserved the trophy then. Is that how most of the players saw it? I mean, they knew the rules, obviously, but is that the fair way to go for the future?
As many people have said before, the league's the league. If you're the best teams after that 18 games, you've seen it with Curry last year. They were clearly the better side. They were home and away. We were the only people to give them a defeat kind of thing, and we couldn't do it up there because they were that good of a side. They should have gotten it last year. But fair credits to Mar in doing it. They battled it out with us in the game before the semi-final and the semi-final, and then up there. And now, listen, it was good for us to get the turnover, but all credits to Sean Fairbairn for getting that turnover. But it could have easily went the other way.
What was it like a minute to go? In fact, even into the red, you knew you were down to 13 men, but fair play to Curry for taking you to the wire, literally. But had it been the other way, how on earth could you have got yourself over that?
Oh, it'd been quite bitter. Yeah, it would be quite disappointing to have went all that time within the league to scrape out as many wins as we did, just to fall at the final hurdle as it would be.
And of course, the history books would have said Curry.
Curry, indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, you got there. What was the reaction to that score in the corner from Ronan?
I think you'll have seen it yourself a few times, but I just had a wee shake of the hand in the air. That was the job done. It was more relief than anything. I like winning, but I don't really like losing. That's the main bit. I never lost. That was the main thing.
We're still waiting for the open-top bus in the town, aren't we?
I'll have to recreate the photo that the Algin's done.
That's right. So you're going to try and do it for the Cup double, are you?
We'll have to do that, yeah.
And of course, it is Glasgow Hawks away from home. You take. I think this is the great thing about Matty and the team and the squad. It's one game at a time. You don't take things for granted. You treat every match like a cup final, and it pays off.
Yeah, I think Hawks have been a little bit of a booby team for us as well. I think it was last season. It was just either before or after the Christmas break. They were able to get a win, which meant we slipped to third, and it basically cemented us in third, which meant we had to go to Mar. And it's just been one of those teams that they've always sort of got the number on us kind of thing. And it was good to sort of cement the victories this year, and I think we could hopefully kick on for there.
Something else to talk about now, the south of Scotland. Great to see it back. 6 years it's been since I was up at Bridgehond. It was the Caledonia. There's only been 4 games this century for the south. They've won them all. They've come from behind in every single one as well. And it's an incredible culture. The same down in Hawick. There's been some great south games in the past. So you know full well that the culture. But very rare to get the opportunity to wear the red and white stripes. And you're in the squad, so many congratulations.
Thank you.
What does it mean to you, the south?
As the same with Hawick, there's been that many great players that have came through the south and represented the south. obviously without the early history, but also recently. So you mentioned that last game. You can list off most folk could probably list off the team off the top of their head because there's that many great players in it. And as you say, they came from behind and actually put in some really good scores against them. You had boys like Lee Armstrong dancing their feet, or Bruce McNeil. But
there's 3 scrum halves, I think, isn't it, in the mix? So
there'll be plenty of competition.
Plenty of competition, but you thrive on that.
Indeed. No, there's always been competition down at Mansfield. There's been people like Greg Cottrell and Gary Munro when he was down, and then Hector this year, sort of bringing him on as well. So yeah, nothing wrong with a bit of competition. Let's
talk about Hector actually, because he's a young Jed guy. Of course, Jed Thistle. Remember interviewing him, and now he's with Hawick.
Hassendine, he's in the Hawick boundary. Come on.
Absolutely. That's definitely near there. But as you say, I mean, it's great to have competition. It's great to have the youngsters coming through, and he's kept you out the side a couple of times. You've kept him out as well. That's got to be good.
Oh yeah, listen, he's got a great personality. He's always got a smile on his face, kind of thing, and he's good having around the squad and just bringing him on, kind of thing. Just little things that you don't quite get at semi-junior level. Just you need to do this in this kind of situation, or maybe over here, just calm down in this kind of area. But no, his skill set, and when I'm getting picked on the under 18s, I think it's sort of proving the fruits of his labour, because he's been very impressive, and his skill set has shown that.
Tell me about the Welshers now, because they're all over the place, aren't they?
There's enough of them, aye.
Yes, and great to see Charlie come in sort of late in the season and had his opportunity, took it really well, got man of the match on the first one. But the Welshers, it's hard to imagine a Hawick team without them.
Aye, there's plenty out, so hopefully we can keep that going. But I'm really proud of Charlie actually. He'd gotten a couple with that COVID. I hate to bring it up because I was mentioning it nowadays, but with the COVID, that was basically when he came up into the first team, so he missed those kind of 2 years, that kind of age grade level, and then just as the season was coming into it, he ended up picking up a head injury, so he fractured his skull, which meant he was missing another year. So he's basically had this season at senior rugby. So I've been really proud of him, and he's clearly played well for the force, and then as you say, he's taken his opportunities well, and I think he's shown his class as a player. Just a young fella coming through and making his tackles, catching the ball, that's all he needs to do.
Absolutely. And about your own future as well, I mean, you're obviously going to be you've thoroughly enjoyed this season. Who wouldn't? Undefeated.
Indeed.
Fantastic. How do you see the future for yourself?
Hopefully bright. Don't really think that far ahead. In rugby terms, it's usually aye, as you say.
You're not planning on going off to another club or anything like that? Hawick's the place for you?
Depends how big their paycheck is. No. No, as I say, it's literally just next game. What's the next game kind of thing. I don't really think that too far in front, to be honest. I think there was murmurings of maybe the South coming back. Maybe was at the start of the season, and then properly about 2 months ago, and I thought, well, Hawick are sitting top of the league. I'm in the mix for a starter for Hawick as well, kind of thing. I'd think I'd be there or thereabouts, maybe getting put forward. And then thankfully Matty went, would you like to put your name forward for the South? So yeah, I went. I'll take that. There's not a lot of times somebody gives you an opportunity like that to go and take. So.
And of course, I think the other thing as well is there's a lot of people who have ambitions, particularly if you're a teenager, you're looking at pro rugby, you're looking at international rugby and stuff like that. That's only going to happen to the chosen few, effectively. But something like the South, I mean, this is like a pinnacle for a lot of players as well. Would you say that that's a fair thing?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're representing the South. I can't remember the famous wins they've gotten, but if I remember right, it was either New Zealand or South Africa.
Oh, I wish it was. Yeah. It was a draw against South Africa.
Was it a draw against South Africa?
But they have beaten Australia a couple of times.
Yes,
and,
Australia a couple of times.
Down here, so we've seen the very old grainy footage, but it's there and it's history, which is fantastic. But as I say, it's just great for players, club players in particular, to have that stepping stone.
Yes, definitely. I think that was something that was maybe missing, obviously, because of, I've mentioned it again, the Wuhan flu. But yes, basically that stepping stone, just a wee bit pushing onwards kind of thing. Whereas at the end of the season, you've maybe got the South or maybe Scotland club to look forward to potentially getting picked for if you've played good enough.